Well, welcome back, folks. Going to try something a little different this time. You can let me know in the comments if you like this better or like me to introduce it with my full view. I'm going to talk today about intergenerational differences. So, what got me interested in this? Well, I had a workshop some years ago where I had very unusual pushback from younger people in the room. And it struck me that this was likely what's known as the millennials, this kind of early middle age group that is economically far, far less privileged than the boomers, for example, are. And this book by William Strauss and Neil Howe, absolutely fascinating. What they're talking about is that there are distinct periods in human history oriented around generations, and every fourth one is a major cataclysmic, some form of change. I shouldn't say cataclysmic, dramatic change. So the I put over here on the axis on the left, sort of the year, date of birth. The silent generation, this was a fourth turning. They followed the greatest generation, which won World War II. And their mindset is typically shared. They work hard, they're very traditional, they're very loyal people. They never don't imagine changing jobs. And today they're age 75 to 95. And this was a time of great turning, which led to the boomers. The boomers had this great prosperity, very consumption oriented, borrowed money, lived in the suburbs, age 55 to 75. So, age wise, I'm kind of right in the silent generation to early boomer, and I share some things with the boomers, but I think actually I relate more easily with Generation X. The term comes from the fact that nobody knew what these people were. And I think I'm very tolerant of alternate lifestyles, always has been, have technically adept, individualistic. And so I think I function more like the Gen X people do. And then the millennials, age 20 to 40, the most mysterious to me. I think the pushback I got in the workshop was probably because they're angry. They don't have the opportunities that the people my age had. They're more diverse, they're highly educated, less getting married. And finally, the Generation Z. And this is like a trend, seems to me. Ex millennials to Zen, more and more digital, more diverse, more educated. So I'm, as you may know, I'm very interested in things like Bitcoin. And I love to listen to people talk about it. And what I say is, if you're gonna talk about Bitcoin, give me 2 minutes and I'll tell you how old you are. Because the silent generation people in this age group who actually are running most of the country. This is the age group for the Congress. This is the age group for the people who run the Federal Reserve, so forth. They tend to poo-poo the whole thing, and I think it's because first they're very traditional, and it's a non-traditional thing. And I don't think you can get comfortable with Bitcoin until you understand something about it technically. So the people here from Gen X on, these are the Bitcoin advocates, and I'm also in this camp. I think I'm interested in Bitcoin. First, technically, the core ideas of blockchain and things like this fascinate me. And the idea that it is money completely separated from any institutional control. No one can take it away. Uh, the people have asked me what was the motivation in the invention of it, and sometimes they say, well, it's because it's anti-government. No, not at all. I don't think so. I don't think any place could have invented it except Japan, and a Japanese group of people took on a pseudonym, I believe, invented it. It's one of the greatest technological advances of our time. And I think it's the Japanese culture of giving power to the group. All the important decisions in Bitcoin are made by what are called the miners. This is a few 100,000 people that validate the transactions. And it's the fact that you can make transactions completely anonymously. And I've heard the Janet Yellens and people like that try and poo-poo it. Bitcoin is something that you can use for illicit or illegal things. That's not correct, I don't think. The Bitcoin is no more useful, no more frequently used for that than regular money is. But the advantage is that what they don't like is the government can't control it. The government can't take it away. If you get it from other than a regulated exchange, they can't even tell you have it. So to look at this and understand that a lot of our viewpoints are very much driven by when we were born. And so what's going to happen is over time, I think this is the core of the Republican Party. This is the more democratic people. Over time, people of this ilk are going to be gone. And as far as safe haven of money, I also believe very much in gold. And it's because these people are making the decisions, and they're the traditional people that they would consider the fact that gold has backed currencies for thousands of years. And I think over the next 10 or 20 years, as these people vanish and the Gen X come in and the millennials, you might find a preference for Bitcoin over gold. Anyway, I just think about how to protect my assets in the long term. And that's a little piece around that. So hope this was fun for you. Hope this gives you good insights. What did I do with this? Well, I wanted to look at the workshop and see if there was anything in the workshop that was a result of my generation. Again, I sort of place myself as a boomer, but I think I'm more like Gen X. And the basic idea is whether or not I'm reasoning from first principles. This will be my next segment. So good science, good physics comes from first principles. I've learned to listen to people when they reason from analogy is pretty much nonsense. And I'll show you more about reasoning from first principles, how it works, in a fairly detailed technical piece called episode 4. So hope you're having fun with me and look forward to seeing you in the next cycle. Be safe, please. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.